Hello and welcome to my October blog, and I apologise to you now if any of my words come out wrong, because I've got a raging sore throat and I've got man flu or cold, or call it what you will, because I've had one of those months when I don't seem to have sat down a great deal. I've been all over the place, and at long last, after 3 or 4 months of solicitors and what have you, I've managed to finally move house. So I've been dashing between the lake and there trying to get things sorted, and I've also had quite a few tutorials over the last few weeks, as well as the Avid trade show, which was a great success, where they released over 50 new items to the range. But in between all of that, I've also been over to America, where I ran the Chicago Marathon, and I did lug my girlfriend around Lake Michigan trying to look for carp on the final afternoon that was over there. But we'll have a look at some of the footage from that in due course. But what I want to do to start with is look at the fishing on the Lincoln Syndicate again, because I'm trying to catch a fish now called the Trent Mirror, which is the biggest fish in the lake. You may remember that last month I caught the biggest common, which is a fish known as Arnie, a really long old fish which hadn't been out for a year or so, and that one weighed in at 36 pounds. But apparently there's one in here that's bigger than that, which is known as the Trent Mirror, so fingers crossed we might see that one on the bank. But what I'm going to do now is just rewind the clock a little bit to the beginning of the month, when I was back on here doing a few overnighters. So let's have a look at how I got on then. I've only got a night tonight to fish, and it's probably about 20 degrees, and just getting my gear into the swim, I've got a right sweat on. I've had a quick lap around the lake, and you'll notice from my previous blog that I'm in a different swim to where I fished when I caught Arnie the big common. I'm down the opposite end of the lake in a swim that's known as the Polo, and the reason I've chose down here is because as I walked round, it's the only area of the lake where I saw fish. I didn't see a great deal of fish, but there's certainly 2 or 3 fish that are milking around that far corner over there, as you're looking at the shot in the left hand top corner. I haven't actually got the rod out for that area at the moment. I've just got the other 2 rods out, and both of those I've put tight to that far margin, just in shallow water, because it is very warm at the moment, and the fish that I've seen are only in a couple of feet deep. I haven't put a great deal of bait out either, because I'm only here for a short period. I've just lightly scattered half a dozen or so baits around the area, and that's what I'm going to do on this left hand rod as well. So it's just a case of sitting back now and seeing if anything happens. I absolutely love this place. It's surrounded in some lovely trees. It's really thick woodland, almost like a forest. Certainly on this side of the lake it is. It's really gorgeous, and at this time of the year as well, you've got 40 shades of green out there in the trees. The leaves are just starting to turn, nice and brown and goldeny coloured. I don't think there's anybody else on the lake either, so it's a gorgeous place to be. I feel really lucky to be here. Well, time is of the essence at the moment, because I've had a really busy few days down at RH Fisheries Monument on a big tutorial, and I've also managed to move house as well, and it's a house that needs a little bit of work doing to it, so I've got to dash back there in a minute as soon as I return this fish. But I've managed to squeeze in a few hours fishing, and I've managed to catch this lovely common, and it's the last time I go fishing for about a week, because I'm off to America at the weekend to win the Chicago Marathon. I am taking a rod, so I'll see if I can get some bank time in while I'm over there and try and catch a carp, but it is going to be pretty difficult because time's against me. But I'm sure when I return I'll be back on this place. About 3:14, so not a bad pace really for the conditions. Happy with that. So I've just checked out the hotel, and it's now a case of trying to find some carp in the last few hours, see if we can catch one before we leave from home. So let's see how we get on. Well, I've just left the hotel, and literally about a block away is what we've got behind me at the moment, which is the massive Lake Michigan. Now, I'm not going to walk around the lake and have a look for signs of fish, but what we've got is a number of little bays that are coming off the main lake, and the harbours are apparently quite good areas for finding carp. You know, that's the beauty about Google at the moment, because you can go on the internet and type in carp fishing Chicago, and basically this is what it's come up with. So it's early in the morning at the moment, it's about 8 o'clock. Sun's just sort of come up, and we're going to have a little walk around some of these little bays and harbours. There's a couple of nice little bays down towards the zoo, which is Lincoln Park area, which I'm going to have a look at. Apparently there's quite a few carp down there, so that's what I'm going to do. You know, there's no way of walking around Lake Michigan in the few hours that I've got available and trying to find some fish, but I'm pretty sure that there's probably going to be carp in this marina that we've got behind me. You know, normally where there's boats and people and stuff on big lakes like this, you do get a lot of fish, so I could walk around this area and see if we can find something, but time's against me at the moment because I've got to catch a plane at, well, I've got to leave here about 1 o'clock, so I've got about 5 hours to try and locate some fish, and I think I've got a better chance than some of the smaller bays that are down more towards where the zoo is, so that's where we're going to have a look at now. Looks like Alan Blair over there. Some nice weedy areas down here. I'm guessing that's Fullerton Bridge. But I've still not seen any fish. Any carp. I'm not going to cast out just yet. There's not many girlfriends that will spend time walking around a lake with you or looking for fish when you're on a family holiday. But
no, I've been hijacked.
and she's even pulling a suitcase with her as well. So, and she's done a marathon yesterday, so I'm pretty lucky, you know. But yeah, let's go carp hunting and see if we can find any. I'm now pulling the case and carrying the massive rucksack, but she's still there somewhere. But we've done lots of walking since we left the hotel this morning, probably a couple of miles or so, and it's getting pretty warm at the moment. It's probably about 28 degrees, and not seeing any signs of carp as such. Saw that dead one earlier, and from speaking to a few of the anglers, there's definitely carp in this area. But what I've done is just found some big weed beds and just going to give it an hour or so, see if we can get the lucky and have a bite. But it's a proper urban area. I can swing the camera around. You'll see we've got a freeway over there just on the edge of Lake Michigan, and in the background we've got the backdrop of the city in the distance. But it is getting warm. There's plenty of anglers about at the moment as well. I think they're all fishing for just predator fish, but I've got one rod out anyway over a bed of sweet corn. Just found some weed and just dropped it in close to there, so let's just see, sit and wait. Not very optimistic if I'm honest, but we've got to have some rods in the water to have a chance, so we'll see. We've run out of time, unfortunately. I've had a good go at trying to catch some fish, and I've not even seen anything. I'm pretty sure that if I'd come here in the springtime, then you know there'd been a lot more fish on show. But we was up against it with only a few hours available to us today. But it's 12 o'clock now, and we've got to go and get some food, and then head off to the train to then get back to the plane. Well, conditions look prime at the moment for catching a fish or two. The only thing that's against me really is time, because I've just got to the lake. It's about 4 o'clock. I'm absolutely shattered because I've landed in England this morning and been at Chicago Marathon over the weekend. Legs are killing me, and as luck would have it, I was on the plane next to a bloke who's probably the biggest guy in history, so I had no space to spread my legs out or relax. But anyway, I've got a couple of nights available, so what I'm going to do now is just have a quick walk round. I don't think I'll get all the way around the lake today because time's against me. It's getting dark, I'm hungry, and I'm just going to check out the main spots and see if I can see anything, and then we'll go from there. It doesn't look like there's anybody else on the lake, so there is the option to move about if needs be. Well, I've only seen fish in one swim, and that's down in the far corner in the swim known as Polo, so that's where I'm going to set up tonight. They're really close in, only a couple of feet deep. Didn't see any chunks, but you know, the fact that there's fish down there is always a good sign. So I'm going to put the rods out tight to that far margin, probably not put a great deal of bait out, and then go from there. It's a gorgeous evening. It's about 7 o'clock now. Got my legs stretched out, I'm full of tea, I'm rocking back on my little chair, and there's fish in front of me. I'm sitting here this evening, brimming with confidence, and when it's like that, that's what carp fishing's all about to me. Sitting there, knowing at any minute a big one's going to take one of these baits. I've loved it ever since I was a kid, and I still love it today. Oi oi, one happy chappy. I've got aching legs and I'm falling all over the place, but down there is the biggest fish in the lake, the Trent Mirror. Happy days. Well, I'm on really shaky legs at the moment because it's only a couple of days since I finished my marathon, but I got myself down the lake because conditions were prime, and I've not only caught the biggest fish in the lake, which is this one here known as the Trent Mirror, I've also had another 30-pounder to back it up. Whew. And there's the second half of the brace, another 30-pounder, and this one looks older than I am. It's got so many wrinkles all over its flanks. It's crazy, but this is the reason why I joined this lake. It's got loads of old mirrors in it, loads of history. You might remember on last month's blog I talked about the fact that the longer you've been carping, the more you're able to pick up on signs like when it's perfect good fish conditions. Now, I might have thought I was the greatest carp angler in the world when I was a 17-year-old, 18-year-old getting into the industry, but looking back at it, the fact is I knew absolutely nothing. I was full of all sorts of bravado and enthusiasm, and I probably thought I was the greatest angler out there, but having been carping on all sorts of different venues over the last 30 odd years, I look back at myself and I think, yeah, I knew absolutely nothing in those days, because nowadays I can pick up on all sorts of different signs and I know exactly what's happening out there in certain situations. And take for instance what's just happened now a few moments ago, because my middle rod has not bleeped at all, it's not made any sound whatsoever all morning since that last fish, until just a few moments ago when it's dropped back a couple of inches and let out a couple of bleeps. Quick look up onto the far margin where the bait is, and there's not a sign of a coot anywhere in sight. There's no swans, there's nothing out there, and I know full well what's happened, and I've just basically been done by a fish. And when I talk about being done by a fish, it's picked up the hook bait, it's realised it's dangerous, it's managed to shed the hook and done the off, and it's more than likely told its friends that that one's dangerous. It's more than likely spooked other fish that are in the area as well. So if I leave that rod out there now for the rest of the day, I can tell you it's not going to do anything. It is important to be able to realise when you've been done. Not all situations, not all setups allow you to do that, but certainly with the tight lines that I'm using at the moment and this kind of method that I've used for many years now, I am able to pick up on those signs, and I know full well that that one has just been done, so I'm going to get up and redo it now. I forewarned you that the next couple of minutes is going to be a blatant plug about this bed chair. This is the Benchmark X from Avid, and in my eyes it's the best product that Avid make. I've slept on all sorts of beds over the last 30 years, ranging from sun lounges to Lafumas to Fox's bed chairs and Nash's, and I had no idea how good this product was until I used it. It's got a memory foam mattress that runs all the way along, and that's about 3 inches thick. Now, all I can say is that is super soft. Now, I've got 5 shotgun pellets in my back, so I'm always tossing and turning whenever I'm sleeping on a bed chair, but with this thing I get an absolutely fantastic night's sleep. The other thing I like about it is it's slightly higher than a lot of bed chairs off the ground, because a lot of these bed chairs nowadays, they're super cool, they're designed for young lads that sit there looking cool under low profile bivvies. Now, I'm nearly 50 years old, I want something that's going to be a little bit higher, that's going to stop my back from aching or my legs from being tucked up too much, but this bed chair absolutely does that. It's got adjustable legs as well, standard mud feet, and it comes with a system or without. Now, the system itself I've only used down to about 5 or 6 degrees temperature so far, but according to the lads at Avid, they say it's absolutely fine during really minus cold temperatures. And another great thing about this bed chair is the zip system. We're all sick to death of using zips on bed chairs that catch all the time, but with this one, that's just one hand on the zip and it's going all the way along. It's an absolutely great piece of kit, it really is. And all I can say is if you're in the market for a new bed chair this year, then make sure you check out this product at one of the shows, because it really is as good as I'm saying it is. Morning all, the world is waking up, the trains are going past, there's people on the far bank at work, and you can set your watch for bite time at the moment as well, because at first light on this place the rods are going. Every day that I've been down over the last couple of weeks I'm getting a bite at first light, and the same's happened today. I've moved swim. I was down in the polo swim yesterday where I had a brace of 30 pounders, but I had a quick walk around the lake yesterday afternoon and it was pretty clear that the majority of the fish had moved up the lake. There were still fish around where I was fishing down in the polo, but the one that I want to catch the most out of this lake is a fish known as the woodcarving, and I saw it for the first time yesterday in one of the snags about halfway up. So I moved to where I am now, which is on the point swim, and it is hard pulling out of a swim where you've just had a brace of 30 pounders from, but I thought it was the right thing to do. And at first light this morning, about half an hour ago, rod's gone, and would you believe it, the fish that I want the most out of the lake was on the end. So I'm truly blessed, I really am, because this fish lives up to its name of the wood carving. It really is a stunner. So let's have a look at it now. Well, all I can say is my time on this lake has been absolutely fantastic. It's one thing catching the biggest fish in the lake, which we all enjoy, but when you catch a target fish, it's even more special. And the reason I really came to this lake wasn't just to catch Arnie or some of the big mirrors, it was mainly to catch this fish, which is a piece of Lincolnshire history. It's a carp known as the woodcarving, and I'm sure you'll agree, that is a great way to end my time on this lake. What a fish.